traders, how's it going? It's Scott Schneider with a shadow short. It's Tuesday, May 6th. It's about 5:15 p.m. Eastern time. We got the internals up on the screen right now on the broader markets. And, just even though today was a true gap down and we did end up filling the gap, if you look at the sectors, and this is measured from the open, the 11 sectors that make up the S&P 500, they were not all weak. There was actually a good bit of strength in XLK from the open, in communications from the open, in financials, consumer discretionary, industrials. A lot of weakness was in healthcare. Heavy weakness, over 2% from the open. And then energy, real estate, and materials were also weak, but they're not very heavily weighted. So they're not going to be able to take the market down if we have strength in the larger sectors. Our iceberg tick, our cumulative tick, actually, was negative 12,000, and it had, definitely improved in the second half of the day, but did stay negative. And you got some pain, on both sides. Weighted AD was all over the place, below the zero line, above the zero line. We just going a little bit off of internals. If we take a look at like VIX and the dollar, USD, JPY, and yields, for a couple days, yields have been kind of inching up in the TNX. Now there was a 10-year auction today, and it did go. It was graded pretty well. So we'll see if that provides any relief. But keep an eye on the creeping yields. The dollar also has had 3 down days, and the VIX, has been getting crushed since its, April highs, which is kind of interesting. Headed into tomorrow, I would expect more volatility to be expected, and maybe with these lower prices, maybe some options could be not priced appropriately. And maybe we could find some value there. In the USD JPY, also 3 down days, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now, if we take a look at the ES daily chart, you'll see that we are above the 8 EMA. And today, when we, found support, where was it? It was exactly at the 8 EMA, right around that 5,600 level. So that's significant. We are, being back above the 8 EMA, and we have been for quite a time on the daily, and we've had the pinch going for a few days. So, tomorrow, if we get any selling, we'll keep the 5,600 level, and then also the 21 EMA around 5,534 in as potential supports, and see if price just really ignores those, and it lets you could, selling might be a little more serious. If we take a look at the profile, if we take a look at the market profile using Window Trader, you'll see that today's profile was pretty tight, and we got a very wide value area. And our point of control from a TPO standpoint, from a time standpoint, is exactly where our halfback was today, around that 5640 area, just below it. And that's significant because it lets you know that, yes, we got down, we had lower prices, and we had a little short covering rally, but at the end of the day, the most amount of time took place right smack in the middle of the day's range, and same with the most amount of volume. So value is lower today, but I just don't know how much it matters given the context of, there's probably not a lot of longer term participants getting too involved ahead of tomorrow's FOMC meeting. So it's safe to, just looking at the structure and looking at some of the mechanical levels that were bought today, like right off of, the low 5,600, right off of, the very specific areas, the high being sold right off of yesterday's settlement, it does indicate that, the market is, for the moment, being controlled by the smaller time frames. And that could change. And when that change, I think we'll get a little more direction and a little more confidence in that direction. Now, I do have some levels that we could use as signposts tomorrow. So these are some upside references if we happen to, explore to the upside. 5650 is an important level. We had a lot of time spent at that area over the past couple of weeks. And so if we could get some more acceptance above it, that would be a good thing that buyers would want to see. We have some virgin points of control, from May 5th at 56.8975 and the 2nd of May at 57.12 1/4. And then, the April 2nd electronic hour high, which was, the day that the heavy selling came in, the quote unquote liberation day, just mark that off, 57.75. If things get really wild over the next couple of days, potentially, to the upside, potentially we see that play a factor, and, maybe it could be a target. But, you want to monitor for continuation. I'm not calling for these, but you always want to have signposts, that you can use to kind of monitor how strong the trend is going. To the downside, I think 5,600 is very important. It's kind of surprising that today didn't get to 5,600. And, we have the low of May 1st at 56.0175. And so, again, today, the fact that that wasn't tested is significant. We have a virgin point of control from April 30th at 55.3875. And another one at 53.63, and then a gap fill all the way down at 53.39 1/4, and that's from April 23rd. So that's the unrepaired gap. So we got some levels to look at, both to the upside and the downside, because nobody knows what's going to happen. We are all peeing in the wind, so to speak. So take it tick by tick. And be open-minded, stay safe, and I hope to see you guys in the room. Peace. Hey, this is Scott Schneider from the Futures Room over at ShadowTrader's Live Trading Suite. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you'd like to trade live with me in real time, please click the link in the description below. Have a great day and happy trading.